Hello everyone. So in the last video also we have seen a little more on the while loop, and also we have seen the demonstration of this while loop with the continue and break keyword as well. So I don't want to waste much time on while loop hereafter because we have seen the for loop as well. So we have done so many examples in the for loop, and we can redo the same examples with the while loop. Maybe like eliminating or switching on particular number of LEDs kind of things, or sorry guys, or the same thing that I did with the for loop. Okay, the same LED example, those kind of things I can do with the while loop as well. Okay, but I don't want to do them because I hope guys with the common sense, and since you have come through this tutorial up to now, you will be able to try those things by yourself. Okay, maybe if I ask, okay, blink the LEDs from line number pin number 5 to 10 using a while loop. Okay, so then you can do it because you know how to do it in the for loop. Just a small difference, right? The way you write is a little different, that's all. So you will have this hopefully you have that talent, I hope, so that you can customize the while loop for any future need that you are going to have in upcoming days. Okay, so let's get the while loop done now for the moment, right? So we are done with the while loop, we are good. So let's start a new thing today that's called okay, hold on a second guys, that's called functions. Okay, so if you have studied any programming language, you might have known functions. If you knew C, you know functions. Or if you studied Java or Python or some other programming language, you have heard of the word called method. Okay, so both are same in some way. Okay, so what we call as method in Java is called as functions in the C++. Okay, you can call like this. Okay, so or in C we call it as functions. Okay, excuse me guys. So let's study about this and why we need this. Okay, we need to know that. Okay, so for example, okay, we can even take this particular example. Okay, this example, this button example or whatever. Okay, so let's take this button example. So this was the example we did in the previous one or two videos, where we read a button state, and when the user is keep pressing the button, we do a blink, and when the user takes his hand off, we switch off this LED. Okay, that's fine. So now we have in Arduino we have two blocks. What are them? Void setup and void loop. Yes or no? Yes. So void setup is used for one-time implementation, and void loop is used for repetitive implementations. So but what we do is we write our code. So let's say we want this functionality to happen, right? So we write our code here directly in the void loop. Okay, so that's correct. Sorry guys. So let's say, what if we write more lines, like 100 lines of code? So you'll write all the lines of code inside this void loop. Okay, so this is not seen as a good practice, especially when it comes to code refactoring. You don't have to write all these lines directly inside the void loop. So here comes something called functions. So what do we do is, you just take this whatever the part of the code you want outside first. Okay, and you put it in a separate block. Okay, I'm just writing the word block, but don't worry. Okay, so you put them in the separate block that is outside of both the void setup and void loop block. Okay, you get it? Even after the end of the void loop, you write a new block and write all these things, and then the block, you can have a name to the block, let's say ABC, and you can call this name here, something like this. Okay, this is not a syntax, but I'm just writing it just for an understanding of yours. Okay, so if you call this block, so what the program will do is it will look for this everywhere, okay, and it will find this block is here. So whatever is inside the block will be replaced here, or whatever the functions, or functions means something we do. So we digital read the pin number 2, we check the while loop, and we digital write it. These are the things we do, right? So all these things are inside this function, inside this block. So this block is called a function. We'll come to that later. Inside this block. So if you call this block, every function, that everything that you have done will be done here. It's kind of code refactoring, or you can say it's almost like replacing all these things here. Okay, but when the user or someone who is writing the code is looking at the void loop, it's very neat because we have only one line. And if you want to study what is happening here, you can go to that particular block here and read it, instead of bringing all those things inside the void loop. You understand? So this is the main something called code refactoring. We refactor the code, we make the code look nice. Okay, so we take a particular action of the code and we bring it into a separate chunk of code. Okay, and we put it in a block called functions. We put it in a function inside a function. So that is why what I said here as a block, and we use the function name to implement those things. Okay, so here we write the function, and when we say the name of the function, we say it calling the function. We'll come to that again. Okay, calling the function. So what is a function? Basically is we take a particular functionality of the code and we keep it in a separate we pack it or we encapsulate inside a separate block of code, and we give a name to that block of code, and the block of code is called a function. That means if you call this will do something. What it will do, whatever you write here will be done here. Okay, so the code will look very neat and nice. Okay, so don't worry, with the examples you will understand. So these are not the ways to write the functions, so these are just like bullshit, so just don't worry. Okay, so how can you write a function and use it? Okay, right, so let's take a small example. So let's remove all these things. These are hard things, no? Okay, so let's say in the void loop we are going to do some system out println scenarios. Okay, sorry, serial println scenarios. Okay, so I will say serial begin 9600. I'm sorry guys, serial begin 9600. Okay, then here we will say serial dot println. Just we'll write some text. Okay, don't worry. First we will write some empty text like dot 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 or something like that. Okay, and then you'll write serial dot println. Okay, starting of the function, starting of the let's say starting of the message, we can starting of the message we can have the word, or then we will have more something like hello, and we can have end of the message. Okay, oh my god, what I'm doing. All good, right? So this will work, right? This will just print these values. Okay, obviously. Okay, now what we are supposed to do is we are going to, as I said, we are going to bring all these lines to a separate block, and we only are going to call that particular block here in one line inside the void loop. Okay, so then we will see whether this thing works or not. Okay, and before, like, to understand the functionality or to understand the working nature of the function. Okay guys, so just follow me up in the next video. We will catch up there with these things.